Hi everyone, my name is Ella Mesma. I am the director of Ella Mesma Company, and I would love to tell you a little bit about what we do. Ella Mesma, actually Ella is Portuguese for she or her, and Mesma means real, so it's about kind of really getting to our realness, getting to the heart of who we are. So the company was created in 2011. It was because I was invited to do a solo performance of a piece I made called Evil, which was Love Backwards, and that was performed at Breaking Convention. The company has since made many pieces of work. My very first group piece was called Orishas and was danced by 4 amazing females and was exploring these warriors, these superheroes, these gods, these goddesses as movement material, using kind of elements of contemporary dance, elements of Afro-Brazilian and Afro-Cuban dance, and really sort of this was where I started to dive into this idea. All of my storytelling tends to come back to the idea of the superhero, that each performer is a superhero, and we're helping, or we're enabling them to explore their story and to come out kind of more superhero, more a superpower. So that was the start of that journey. Ladylike, which was created in 2015 and was performed at Sadler's Wells in 2017. Ladylike really was a development of that first piece, Evil, into a quartet, and explored 4 different women's stories. In Ladylike, we used the idea of the chicken, that often women are kind of referred to as different names of animals, but particularly we kind of looked up all these different names of animals and decided the chicken was one of the most used kind of words to refer to a female. And I took that idea. I have a background of dance in rumba from Cuba and many other kind of Afro-Cuban styles, and also breaking from New York. And we kind of took these 2 styles in. There's a specific dance in Cuba called yuca, and yuca is the dance of the rooster and the hen. So we kind of used that idea to explore these gender roles, you know, that many dances back in the day, women were told they weren't allowed to dance them. So we were kind of exploring this idea of what is it to be female, and how can we, you know, in these times where we have equality, where are the gaps, where are the things that we need to see change. It was quite an angry piece. It was very inspired by Clarissa Pinkola Estes' Women Who Run With Wolves, and it started with this kind of very visceral piece where we were also exploring this male gaze, this what is it to be put on stage, to become an object on stage, and how do you own that, how do you take ownership of that. And the piece kind of goes on this journey, almost like a superhero's journey, of each woman exploring their story, exploring what it is they kind of need to get over and resolve to allow themselves to be, and to just be, rather than having to kind of play a stereotype or play a role in society. I really wanted for the ending to kind of give this element of hope and this element of possibility, but also to come back to this, what I call a lot in my teachings, the pole of the body, this idea of wholeness, which connects to yoga, and Shushmuna, which is that kind of balancing, that central part of the body. Papillon is a solo that I've been working on. It began in 2017 as a solo, and then I was very fortunate, and I'm very grateful to be able to go to South Africa for the first time to work with an amazing poet called Tony Stewart. Tony Stewart and I were exploring our identities. Both of us are mixed heritage, and both of us are quite light-skinned, and we wanted to talk about that and kind of share our experiences across different countries, and also you know, use it as an opportunity to go inside and to know and understand more about yourself. Now in these times, I'm reworking it as a solo, exploring deeper. It feels like these times are really important, that we're also self-reflecting, constantly doing the digging, doing the work. And I hope that somehow across borders, Tony and I will still continue to share it as a duet. Foreign Bodies, an underwater love story. Similarly, I seem to have a theme of taking an animal, a kind of a spirit animal, and exploring that. So Foreign Bodies, the spirit animal of the jellyfish. The jellyfish became our totem animal. And I just find jellyfish very beautiful, how they move. They're so meditative. Jellyfish actually don't have a brain. But they kind of look almost like these enlightened, you know, they look like aliens effectively, but there's something about them that made me really think of this kind of crown chakra, this kind of place of truly being without being influenced by politics, without being kind of, you know, definitely not worrying about money, but without being in these states that humanity go through of love and fear and I like the idea that jellyfish, they're just accepting, they're just loving, they're just being, they're just going about their journey. Jellyfish don't swim actually, they kind of don't have a direction, they just go with the flow, which was really interesting. My yoga teacher often says it's not about going with the flow, it's going in flow, and you know, they really represent that to me. So we use the jellyfish as the totem animal, and I wanted to explore racism and these difficult times. So at the time of making it, we had just the UK had just decided that Brexit was happening, and there was just so many awful stories in the news about refugees and you know, death at sea. But I also wanted to connect that back to my own history as a person of mixed heritage, Caribbean and British, and kind of the racism that I've also experienced and my family have experienced within the family, these sort of two sides of black and white, and how, you know, overall the love of my parents, for example, they stayed together, they're still together, which I think is a beautiful thing, and I would love to recreate one day, to create my own bubble of love. But yeah, so I wanted to kind of talk of love, to talk of fear, and to use these stories to kind of be moving through time constantly, to be referencing elements of histories or herstories that have been hidden, and to be shining a light on, can we be more jellyfish? Can we be more accepting? Can we be more able to coexist rather than be busy, you know, always in survival mode and always looking out for ourselves?